Let's jump right into our math routine for today. Slides 6, 7, and 8 are identical. I just have duplicates because of the class size we have today. And I'm going to ask you to type in any number that would fit on the number wave into one of those boxes and move the little box down to the number wave. On the text side of this, each box is semi-transparent so that it shows up on the wave. And I used a bullet point because I want the students to visualize a ball rolling on this number line. It's all right if the numbers are on top of each other. And let's hear out from a couple of people. I'll ask that you raise your hand and collaborate. We'll get a cue, and we'll have 5 people kind of share their number and which way it would, where it is on the number wave, and if gravity was working, which way it would roll. So raise your hand to get a cue number. And when you talk about your number, if you would change the text box to like bright yellow so we can see where your number is. Who would like to share? Laura, we'll start with you. Tell us what slide you're on, what your number is, and how it would roll.
So I am on slide 6, and I'm about to turn my text box yellow. And my number was 3 and 99 hundredths. And I positioned it as close as I could to 4 because I know that it's only 1/100th away from reaching 4. So I wanted it to show that it would be as close as I could get it.
Lovely. And if we turned on gravity, which number would it roll towards? 4 or 4 and 1/10?
It would roll to 4.
Very cool. Who else? Go ahead and raise your hand. Who else would like to share their number with us? Juliana, go ahead. Which slide are you on and what's your number?
Hi, I'm on slide 8, and my number is 4 and 99 thousandths. Hold on, let me turn it yellow. And if I turn on gravity, it would go to 4 and 1/10. And what was interesting is I was thinking of extremes, and I started with another number, and then someone else picked the same number, so I had to change mine.
And very cool. And I'd love to call on somebody else. And I'm going to go ahead and change the color of this box to a bright green. And there is 4 and 5/100ths. And it's right at the top of this curve on slide 6. So on slide 6, we have this bright green one. And that one's going to provide us a little bit of a tricky situation. Who did that one, and what do you think about that number on this curve?
I think it was me. I'm Lori, and I picked that number because it was halfway, and so I don't think it would roll anywhere. Or either way.
Absolutely. So in mathematics, sometimes we just have rules that we all agree to follow. And in this case, when we have a number that is at the very tippy top, if it is exactly in between, we are going to talk about our customs and what we plan to do. And the way I work with this with my students is I tell them that we have a little bit of a wind, just a tiny bit of a wind, and it is going to make anything that is right dead center roll to the right. you all can, come up with whatever works best for you and your students, but that's just a convention that we do in mathematics, and it's important that we talk about conventions with our students. So we do have a little bit of a wind, and it's going to blow that number over. I'd like you all to talk with me a little bit about this routine. What do you think about it, and what is important for our students to know about this routine? Go ahead, Laura.
So sometimes I struggle. I teach fourth grade, and I struggle when students come to me from lower grades and they've been taught the rounding mountain, and they memorize a little rhyme, which a lot of us have heard, like one above, give it a shove, that sort of thing. And what I really like about this routine is that it really resembles the number line. So it's like a balance between visualizing that mathematical convention and connecting it to the number line so that students have a context and understand why certain numbers might be rounded to different ones.
I love that explanation. Who else? Lori, go ahead.
Well, I teach grade 1 and 2, so I could see a lot of kind of like the number line thing too. And just the idea, if you had numbers between 1 and 100 or whatever, an idea of like where things are. Kids have a lot of trouble with that. So I really like this. And I liked how, like, when you started typing it, if you noticed you made a mistake, you could kind of change it or whatever. So I really liked that part too.
Oh, yes, we love mistakes in these classes. Absolutely.